Recruit Station Commander here, PSP Schuylkill Haven, and Corporal Robert Hess is the crime supervisor at PSP Schuylkill Haven. So yesterday, just before 2 o'clock, troopers responded to 316 Chestnut Street, North Manheim Township, Schuylkill County, with a representative from Schuylkill County Children and Youth Services, and they were there to check on the welfare of a 22-month-old boy, a 1-year-old boy, and a 1-day-old girl. The mother of the children, Tiffany George, was transported to Lehigh Valley Hospital, South Jackson, earlier in the morning for complications from childbirth. It was learned that she had given birth Tuesday evening around 9 p.m. and was experiencing extreme bleeding after childbirth. When the troopers arrived at the residence around just after 2 o'clock yesterday, they knocked on the door, no response. The CYS worker was able to call the father of the children, Cecil Kutz, who was the person that we arrested, and they were able to ascertain that nobody was at home. At that time, the troopers, 2 of them, made forced entry into the residence through the front door. And when they went inside the front door, there was a 22-month-old child who was locked in a homemade cage. It was kind of fastened out of plywood and lattice, wooden lattice. Had a door on it with a barrel bolt so you could lock the door from the outside. There was a 1-year-old boy that was in a playpen next to the cage, and the 1-day-old girl was in a baby seat next to the playpen where the 1-year-old was at. So at that point, we were there, and Mr. Cecil, not Mr. Cecil, Mr. Kutz showed up, and at that point he was taken into custody. He was arraigned in front of DJ Platchko on 3 counts each of endangering the welfare of a child, recklessly endangering another person, and committed to Schuylkill County Prison on $250,000 straight cash bail. So I described the cage to you. The cage was 74 inches tall by 38.5 inches deep. So the inside of the cage didn't even allow the child to be able to stand all the way up in there.
There's only 33 inches inside the cage itself. 74 inches height, 2x4s. Cage was built. Child was inside.
Do we know how long this has been used, and was it only for that one child with this cage?
At this point, we don't know that. We're still investigating that. That makeshift cage has been in there, in that residence for some time.
Could you come to the microphones for that?
And how do you know that?
We have information that that cage had been seen prior to yesterday.
Where did the father go?
He advised that he was going to visit his wife, well, the mother, up at the hospital.
Do we know how long he was gone?
From the time we got there till the time he arrived, it was 40 minutes. So before that, we're not sure.
So the mom gave birth the prior night. Was there any assistance, or was it who was there at the time?
I don't have that information. I believe it was just the 2 of them.
And is she the mother to all 3 of the kids?
Yes.
And she's aware of the use of the makeshift cage.
I don't have that information. We didn't interview her yet.
But the cage had been in the home for quite
Correct.
some time.
Who reported that the children were home alone? What prompted you to go there?
Yeah, how did you get that information?
Mom was at the hospital because of the bleeding, advised the hospital staff that she had just given birth. Hospital staff called Children and Youth called us.
What was the condition of the cage inside? What was it like inside?
There were assorted toys. There was a sippy cup and a blanket.
Was it clean? Was there...
It was... I don't know how clean you want to call it, but it was cluttered with toys, and it was a cage.
How would you describe the health of the children?
You want to take that? I wasn't there.
The health of the 2 boys, they were examined by EMS. It was on scene. They seemed to be in good health, and the baby was taken to the hospital for further evaluation.
How is the baby doing now?
As far as I know, fine.
I mean,
Will there be any charges against the mother?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
How do you term the conditions? I mean, you know, just in a cage and a 1-year-old. I mean, it's pretty horrific, isn't it?
It was, yeah, it wasn't easy to look at, no.
Did the mother tell you that you were going to find this, or was it a total surprise?
She didn't tell us anything other than
Oh.
tell the staff that she was there.
Or did the staff know? Did the staff know?
No one had any idea.
Yeah. So what was it? What did you think when you saw this? The trooper who got there. And,
I didn't ask them, but I have to believe that like anyone, they'd be disturbed by what they saw.
How long did the father say he had been gone? You know, how long had the children been left? Did he tell you?
No, he didn't tell us that.
Are
But
Tiffany
he claimed
and
that
Cecil
he
married?
I beg your pardon?
Are Tiffany and Cecil married?
I'm not even sure if they're married.
Were all 3 children his, or any of the children his?
He said all 3 were his,
He
yes.
said all 3 was his.
Did he say why he put the 22-month-old in the makeshift cage?
No.
Do we know the condition, overall condition of the home?
Inside, it was, none of us would live there. I would say that. It was in pretty bad shape.
But you said that he didn't say why that he put the kid in the cage. I was hearing reports that the kid was just getting loose and he would lock the kid there at night.
I don't
You don't
have any
know
of
about that?
information.
Is Children and Youth Services usually called to these situations when their mother comes in like that?
Well, this is the first time we've had this situation, but anything that would involve the welfare of children in the county, they would get called relative to that.
And what exactly did she say that brought the awareness that you had to alert them?
Well, that she just gave birth to, the mom gave birth to that child the night before in the residence. And now mom is in there in bad shape, you know, bleeding. And so they were concerned for the child because obviously mom wasn't there with the child and neither was dad.
do you know what her condition is? Is she
I
critical? Okay.
And any signs of malnourishment? You know.
At this point, we didn't see anything overt, but I'm sure the kids will be down the road get evaluated for that. But they didn't, in looking at them, they didn't look malnourished.
Were they crying? Were they wailing? I mean, did they have any reaction?
I wasn't there. I don't know. I wasn't there when our guys kicked that door in, so I don't know how they went.
Did the mother say that the father was also gone from the house?
Mom didn't say anything about that.
What about the reaction of Mr. Kutz to coming home and finding police and then being arrested? I mean, did he say anything? Any remorse or any explanations?
The explanation was he went to see his wife, or Tiffany, at the hospital.
And he thought it was okay to do what he did?
Yep.
Is he being cooperative?
He gave us an interview. I mean, yeah, I guess he was cooperative in explaining his thought process behind all this.
If he had still been there, is it okay to put children in a cage? I mean, is that illegal of its own, or is it that he wasn't there at the time?
I mean, it would depend on the circumstances, but I'm sure children and youth wouldn't be okay with that. Nor anyone in this room.
Is there air conditioning in that home?
I wasn't in there. I'd say no. I wasn't there.
If there was air conditioning, it wasn't on.
Was it, what was the temperature inside the home when you guys went inside?
Very hot.
You had mentioned that none of you would live there. Can you describe a little bit about the characteristics of the home? You said none of you would live there.
It was dirty. There were some issues, exposed wires. There was a bathroom in there that wasn't nearly finished. It just wasn't in very good condition, the entire house.
Was there food out?
There was food.
Garbage?
There was, well, you mean food out, or like, was there a loaf of bread sitting right there? I mean,
Well,
it's all food.
Mhm.
I can't speak to any spoiled food sitting around.
The 1-day-old, was she strapped into the car seat, or
It was a baby seat on the ground, and she was.
was she strapped into it? No. Okay.
She was a day old. She wasn't going anywhere, but
Yeah.
she was in a seat.
And what about the wife? Or I'm sorry, not the wife. The mom. How old was she? Or how old is she?
Mid-20s.
Born in 91, so whatever that. Born 91? 93 she's born.
Who took her to the hospital?
An ambulance came.
And
Now,
did she call the ambulance, or did?
Did he make it to the hospital to visit her? Do you know before coming back?
I don't believe he did. Did he say?
Could
Do
you
you
estimate
know if,
how long it
children and
takes to
youth
get
were-
from the hospital to the house?
It's 10 minutes away. It's right up in Possible.
Do
But there was 40. I understand that 40 minutes elapsed from the time you placed that call to him to the time he showed up at the house. That's what the trooper told me this morning. So
From the time our arrival on scene until the time he showed up was 40 minutes.
what about the time that children and youth placed that call to him and the time he showed up? Do you know how much time elapsed?
I could give you approximate 15, could have been 10, could have been 20.
I mean, what I'm getting at is, was he
40.
really going to the hospital
Well,
to see his wife?
And that's remains to be seen.
Does he have any history or any previous record?
I believe he's been arrested.
I don't know.
I believe he has. I don't know what for.
Have you ever seen a case like this before? And how sad is a case like this? I mean,
Well, it's rare that you would find a child in a cage, and obviously it's sad. We see a lot of incidents where children are living in what we would term deplorable conditions. But this is probably a first for me to have a child actually in a makeshift cage like this, locked in there. So yeah, it's again, it's not easy to look at. You have to feel for these kids. But yeah, it was. We're happy we got there. We're happy that Children and Youth is now taking custody of these kids, and we're happy Dad's locked up.
Do you know if Children and Youth have been there before? Were there any calls out for that?
You'd have to ask them about that. We believe they may have been involved with the family, but you'd have to ask them.
It's a lock, like you'd have to put a key to open it?
No, it's a slide. It's a slide bolt lock, slide lock.
When people hear about this story on television, what's the message you want them to take away from it?
Well, I mean, I think something like this is so egregious. Most people, I would think, know not to put your kid in a cage, regardless of what you think the good reason was. There is no good reason. There's no any reason to put a child in a cage. I'd say for most people, for every person out there with children, I mean, they come first. You make sure they have what they need first before whatever your needs may or may not be, and because you deem it convenient to do something as opposed to to taking care of your children, I have a hard time with that. I think most people would have a hard time with that.
Are you looking into whether you will file any additional charges, including against the mother?
That's ongoing. We'll discuss that as we go.
Do they own the home?
Say it again?
Do they own the home? Or are they renting?
No, I'm not sure if they own it, but he's been there for a long time, Mr. Kutz.
Did he operate the garage next door?
That was his garage, yeah.
So who called the ambulance?
For her, he did.
When was that?
That was sometime yesterday morning. Around 9:30 yesterday morning. The ambulance came in.
have you, state police, had dealings with him in the past, Mr. Kutz?
We know Mr. Kutz. I'll leave it at that. We know.
Does he go by Cecil or Gene?
He goes by Gene. Does not like Cecil. So we call him Cecil.
So would
your name too, the other ones that we're talking about?
My name is Sergeant Fred Krute, Krute. And that's Corporal Robert Hess, HESS. And of course, Trooper Dave Bain.
So did the children appear to be clean, like that they had been bathed recently, or were they soiled?
I can't speak to how long. If they were my kids, they'd be cleaner than they were.
Did they have clothing? They were dressed?
They were dressed.
Or just not just in diapers?
No,
or?
they each had shirts on.
Was like there's a television left on, or was a radio on, or was there anything?
Well, as far as any other details of the investigation, I think at this point you guys have what you need, and we're going to try this in court, not in front of the public. Thank you.
Do we know if there's a preliminary hearings date is set yet?
I don't have that information just yet. I'm not so sure. He was arraigned in front of the on-call judge, so by the time that gets processed at his office and then gets bounced over to the office where it's going to be out of, if that's North Manheim, that would be at Judge Ferrier's office in Orangeburg at some point in the future.